Greetings, brothers and sisters. I'm Professor Spira, and it's early in the morning, and I'm doing some work. Thought I would share a little bit of what I'm doing with those of you that are interested in this kind of thing. I just learned how to use this Microsoft Access, and I'm creating a database of some of my favorite Arnold Ehret quotes. So far I got 48. I'm gonna get several hundred of them, and anybody that knows anything about these databases and data, once you have the data put in, it's pretty easy to do different things with it and control it. But basically I created this so that this is called a form. And so what I've been doing is going through my PDF version, and I have the find function up here. If you hit Control F, you can hit find, and then I'm just using the word nature and finding quotes that relate to nature. And if I see some other quotes that I like that are nearby, I go ahead and add those in there. But let's see which. The one that I just did, nature does not listen to you, but you must listen to nature if you want to be happy. And so I just highlighted it, and then right clicked, hit copy, went down here, and then put it in the box. And hey, I'm doing different themes: diet, fasting, healing, nature, philosophy, and spirituality. Most of the ones I've been doing right now are nature because I'm focused on that, but every once in a while I come across a philosophical statement or a spiritual statement or something like that, and I'll do that. And eventually you can also look at stuff. Hold on. Yeah, so this is all another view. They have all these different views for this data, and I'm kind of sharing this for those of you that are also doing this kind of work of I really wish I would have learned about this Microsoft Access database program years ago, because I could have been using this in school, taking notes, doing databases and stuff for my dissertation work and all kinds of stuff. This is takes a learn. It's not the simplest software to learn, but it takes a little bit of a learning curve to deal with. But I'm learning how to navigate it. Okay, don't know what I just did there, but let's go back to this. What else do we got? We are the product of stimulations and not of natural love vibrations, which eventually leads to impotence. I would put that under, what do you think? How about philosophy? And I'm actually into the philosophical section. Mucusless Diet. Here's some of the other books: Definite Cure, Mucusless Diet, Rational Fasting, Spira Speaks, Thus Speak the Stomach. Eventually, right now I got Arnold Ehret, Fred Hirsch, myself, Teresa Mitchell, get Brother Air up here. Then there's gonna look into some other authors. I might add Hilton Hotima and Dr. Morris or something. We'll see. I want to basically, I'm in the process now of creating the next big push, for the rest of the summer, to kind of take things from the summer into the fall, and the more of a lot of this kind of stuff that I can have together, that enables me to focus more on really working with people one-on-one. And I want to start doing a lot of meetups and more Q&A videos, do a lot more broadcasting, a lot more interaction. I'm still working on, I'm just always working on a million things at any given time, but For me, a lot of it is just about keeping yourself. Just right now, I'm looking at the page number, but a lot of times it's just keeping yourself kind of motivated, and I'm motivated as I see people really start to take more interest in Ehret's work, and so maybe I will see, is there any other? The sticky waste, slimy mucus, and various poisons which nature is attempting to eject should be helped along as much as possible. So I might come back and get that one if I come through and do an enema quote session. All are more or less fooled by nature when they advise eating fruits. Let's see, none of the recognized authorities know the tremendous importance of a thorough and deep cleansing of the human cesspool. All are more or less fooled by nature when they advise eating a fruit which stomach and intestines clogged up by mucus and decomposed protein foods, eaten from childhood onward right into adulthood and beyond. And actually I already got a couple quotes related to this. Now something like this is a long quote. A lot of these I eventually want to put on memes, the smaller quotes. But if I take a big quote like this, then I have short, medium, and long lengths. And so I kind of get an idea of what I'm dealing with there. And I'll go ahead and do nature. Some of these, the theme could be, they could just as easily be on healing or whatever. Let's see, 194. Okay. Let's see. The average unfortunate fellow man thinks of God as a good and forgiving Father who will allow him to enter paradise in another world unpunished for any violations of his laws in nature. And that would be philosophy, but for the moment I will not do that one. So I kind of read through them and I decide, do I want to use a quote? Sometimes if it's a more advanced quote or something that I know will be, I avoid quotes sometimes that are kind of divisive or things that need a greater context and more explanation. And that to me would be more, anytime you start getting into some of the deeper philosophical things or the theological kind of issues, I rather have deeper discussions with a larger context so that the things don't get misinterpreted and out of control as they commonly do when you start getting into those kind of subjects. It's, you can hear the disappointment in my voice because I really wish that intellectually we were on a little higher level, to the point where we could discuss ideas without clinging to dogmas and clinging to past ideas, and in terms of really having that kind of intensive, aggressive kind of defense of one's ideas, especially when it's being discussed within the context and spirit of philosophy. But they really don't teach that, do they? Not a lot, at least not in the States. Maybe the European brothers and sisters. I talked to a lot of folks from Europe. It seems like you guys have a little bit more philosophy classes or something in your schools, because you can do the philosophical discussions a little bit better. The book represents an outline of the serious nature of my work. So yeah. So anyway, something just inspired me to make this video. Normally I don't do these kind of videos, but something just made me want to show you, like, hey, here's some behind the scenes. This is behind this. This is behind the scenes. This is the hard work that I put in terms of, you know, sometimes things can just look like, oh, you just pop up this or do this. It's like, you know, I put a lot of time into this, and a lot of thought into everything that I put out there, and because you know, I want it to be right, and I want it to represent the best of Ehret's work and hone in on building a community, you know, so we can really focus on things that are really important in terms of our, you know, our growing into understanding how deep Ehret's work really is, you know, the Mucusless diet. Because I mean, as many times as I've read this thing, and this has been fun for me because I went through the entire book analyzing the word nature. Yeah, so I've went through just in the past couple hours, I've analyzed the book using the word nature. So every time the word nature is written down, I've read it, and many of those instances were quote worthy. Then at some point I picked some other word. Yeah, I could use spirit and go through and, you know, okay, what's quotes that where Ehret's talking about spirit, and every time when you do that, you just see the book in a different way. It's like this totally shifted everything. I just did nature, now spirit, and if you simply supply the engine with the necessary water that is used up, you ascend into a higher state of physical, mental, and spiritual condition. I call this the superior fast. You know, it's like just doing that with one word, and analyzing a book based on one word. That's why I really like the PDF, and I like the electronic book as a tool. You know, I still I can have about 50 or 60 books. You can't see me now in my room. There's about 50 or 60 books around me because I'm working on my dissertation. But, you know, I still love physical books. But there's something to this PDF and this electronic book world that allows us to study in a different way, and I think deeper. You still want to read, you know, it's different experiences, and it's for different stuff. When I'm using a paperback book, that's a different type of studying and a different type of analysis. But what I can do with a paperback book, I can't do with the electronic book, and vice versa. So that's why I'm a fan of having both, you know, both copies when it's a book that I really love. You know, I want an electronic version as well as the physical version. But see, you will learn and realize that fasting and superior fasting, and not volumes of psychology and philosophy, is the real and only key to a superior life, to the revelation of a superior world, and to the spiritual world. I mean, boom. It's a great, I mean, that's ready to roll right there. That's a great, you know, that's a great quote. Spiritual blindness. So this is going to get into a lot of the more philosophical, you know, a lot of these quotes that get into spirit or spiritual. They will never believe in the divine perfectness of the bread of heaven. As it is said, the Lord will punish them by blindness. Spiritual blindness, meaning that doubt, losing faith and belief, will return again and again as long as waste and old poisons are cultivating through or circulating through the brain for elimination. You are saved from this tragic error, I hope. I mean, that's it. I mean, it's just so heavy, man. But I just love this book. I just love this thing. It's just like, I mean, all you have to do is just examine a different word, and all of a sudden you're on this whole other, you know, I mean, just this whole vibe of reading these sentences where he's talking about spirituality versus using the word spirit or spiritual. It's like a total different shift from the nature, you know, words where nature was used. So yeah. So I'm gonna sit here and think of some other words that I can use to go through the book. And of course I got all the other books to go through, and you know, there's a lot of just so much material here, and it's you know, I feel privileged to be at the forefront of this whole process, because there's nobody with most other things that are popular or mainstream or whatever. I mean, they've been done to death. They've been analyzed to death. A lot of the content of some of the more influential things have made it into people's minds. You know, it's made it into the you know, the common way that people think, and I want to see that be able to happen with Ehret's work. But you know, we're at the embryo stages of just really getting into this next you know, next way of thinking. And that's what, you know, me and Brother Ehret was talking about after our discussion, that you know, we really, like we said, we don't talk as much about what to think as let's reevaluate how to think, 'cause that's what I'm more interested in. You know, if you learn how to think, then you can do it yourself. But few people that I meet or come across has really been either, you know, influenced or encouraged to learn how to think, because there is a mechanics to it that you could break down. You know, there's a process. Some people kind of do it intuitively, but a lot of folks, you know, we're taught more the you know, like the way they do for the standardized test and stuff. It's just, well, this is what you're supposed to know. This is what to do, as opposed to what you learn if you get into like graduate studies and that kind of stuff, is to be incredibly critical about things. But there's a way to be critical that's constructive, and there's a way to be critical that's just basically being critical to be critical, or being critical to, you know, further your own agenda and further your own stuff. I mean, I try to, there's a way, it's kind of an objective criticism where you can say, okay, here's the theory, here's the usefulness of this theory, and I can do that with Ehret stuff, and I'll do that and come to the conclusion that some stuff is not useful or as useful as other things. So that dispels that whole concept of just, oh, well, it's just Ehret. He was like, no, I don't agree with everything that, you know, that Ehret said, or everything that's in the book. But everything can be discussed and kind of analyzed, and it's better, for me, it's better to just understand why something's there. You know, why it's not that is it right or wrong or whatever. Why did Ehret say what he said? You know, and any writer, I mean, that's just the critical process. Any writer, why did they say what they said? What's the context? What's the historical context? What's the social context? What's the scientific context, spiritual context? You know, all these different factors key into why somebody says something, you know. And So anyway, before I sit here and just ramble on more, this is I'm gonna call this video behind the scenes. So this will probably only attract those of you that are really that just want to have an informal discussion with Professor Spira here. So I hope you enjoyed it and found this video fun, and I will talk with you soon. Peace, love, and breath.